Mayor, I want to continue the conversation that Assemblymember Bronson started around public safety, because I too am concerned and frustrated and want to support you as much as we can as it comes to reducing gun violence. You mentioned investing in SNUG and GIVE, and those are programs that we definitely want to continue to fund. But you've been around the block for a long time. You know a lot of the not-for-profits in our community based on your time on the school board and as a community leader. I'm wondering if, and this is really kind of more of brainstorming, but how we can help you with state resources by investing in some of those smaller not-for-profits or community violence interrupter, groups that are out there, whether it's Rock the Peace, whether it's some of the work that Justin's doing with Untrapped Ministries, who maybe haven't been the recipient of some of the funding we've received in the past, like Center for Youth and some of the other wonderful organizations that have been doing good work in this space. Because I think we need to be nimble. I think we need to try things differently when it comes to the city of Rochester and how we tackle gun violence. And I'm wondering if you could comment on, you're bringing new leadership to City Hall. Who are some of the new organizations and ways, new partnerships that we can fund that may tackle this issue of gun violence differently?
Yeah, I think that one of the things that we need to do is it's an all hands on deck. And in order to deal with violent situations, you have to use every multiple tools within the toolbox. So if there's an organization, for example, that is good with dealing not only with the young man that might be getting ready to pick up a gun, but can also deal with the whole family. And a lot of this violence, it stems from things that are also happening in the household. Because, for example, if you have a person that is involved in violence, you also have to deal with that person, but then you also have to get into that household. So any organizations that is looking at the whole family, because if you're a young man, you're 14 years old, you may have an older brother that might be 21, that might be influencing you. So you can't just deal with that 14-year-old. You also have to go in and deal with the older brother that might be in the house, or the grandmother or mother or father that also might be living there, that also may need some type of services to go along with what's happening in that household. So we're interested in partnering with organizations that looks at it from the holistic standpoint. No 14-year-old grows up and says, hey, I decide I want to pick up a gun. It's the environment that they're in that sometimes is created to make them feel as though they need to get a gang, join a gang, or pick up that weapon. So we have to look at non-traditional organizations who may not be large and go through the process of understanding. They may not have a 501c3. They might need to be part of a host agency. And we're interested in looking at all of those types of organizations as part of our effort. Victor Saunders, who is running all of our violence reduction efforts, the one thing we did was we centralized them all under one place. And what we're saying is that all of these multiple organizations that kind of operate like octopus arms, we're saying we want you to centralize under one place, see how we can fill any of the gaps that are missing, and then get those folks to coordinate and work together. Because not only do we need the traditional organizations that might have operated in the space before, because we are living during different times, we need to try different things. And I will tell you, we had something similar to this in the 90s in Rochester when we had high levels of violence. This is a very similar time to 1993 in Rochester. The only difference is that I have never seen young people with access to the firepower that they have now. That's one of the big differences. Yes, there was gun violence before, but now the levels of what I'm seeing, I have a book on the computer that I can pull up right now that shows 14-year-olds holding firearms that not even police officers or hunters have. So we have to find ways to reach those people in order to get them to go down a path of positivity. Otherwise, we'll be paying for it, but we'll just pay for it later on when we lock them up. And that's much more expensive than giving somebody a job that pays them $15 an hour working 20 hours a week. I'd rather do that than spend the time locking them up.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more, Mayor, and your preventative approach is refreshing. I also commend you for consolidating all of those octopus arms under your office so that we can have a centralized solution, and we stand ready as a delegation to work together with you to make sure that you have the resources to be successful. I want to switch gears a little bit and build off a conversation that we had just a few moments ago with your colleague, Mayor, just down the thruway to the west, Mayor Brown, about arts and culture. As you know, we have a rich history of arts and culture in our community. We're very fortunate to have a number of those institutions located within the city of Rochester specifically. One of the things that I've been exploring as the chair of the Upstate Cities Committee is how we can better collaborate, not just internally with our artistic organizations, but actually with Buffalo. We have a lot of folks who travel from New York City or from places around the globe to come and visit Buffalo to see the Albright Knox Gallery or to go to the Buffalo Zoo. But we have, of course, resources just 45 minutes down the road, like the Memorial Art Gallery or the George Eastman Museum or our own Seneca Park Zoo, to share those cultural experiences and to find opportunities to partner together. And so my question to you, Mayor, is would you be willing to work with Mayor Brown on trying to find those marketing strategies, if you will, so that when the Strong Museum of Play is attracting one family to our part of the state, that same family may travel to Buffalo and experience some of the opportunities that they offer. And that's something that you may be interested in engaging with.
Absolutely. You know, one of the first tasks that my chief of staff, who I stole from the state, one of her first tasks was to reach out to the chiefs of staffs of Buffalo and Syracuse as well. Because, you know, Rochester and Syracuse, both places are only about an hour away. And, you know, I got family that live in Maryland and family that live down in the New York City area. That's not really that long of a distance. So to see how we can have a coordinated approach, a coordinated marketing approach to not just market Rochester, but the region. You know, I always mention all the things that Buffalo has to offer whenever we have people who come into town because it is so close. And Rochester has things that we have to offer. So there is absolutely a great opportunity for Buffalo, and also I believe even Syracuse, because we are so close together. Rochester's in the middle. We're like the arm that reaches both sister cities, Buffalo to the west and Syracuse to the east. There is power there. There's power in those three cities speaking with one voice on issues of mutual concern. But it's a great opportunity for us to be able to share the wealth a little bit, because strong economic development in Buffalo, strong economic development in Rochester or Syracuse helps the entire region. So we are excited about working with both Buffalo and Syracuse in ways in which we can collaborate, because it just makes sense. We're close together. A lot of us are Buffalo Bills fans, so we look forward to finding ways in which we can collaborate with both cities, because not only does it enhance our individual cities, it enhances all of upstate New York, and I think that it's high time for upstate New York to work together to make sure that we are able to help lift all of our cities at the same time.
Thank you, Mayor. You know, I have a soft spot for those city mayors, chief of staffs who are doing the work.
You can relate.
And I know Tammy's going to do a great job working in your administration. Let me again switch gears a little bit. We went from the public safety to arts and culture. Let's talk about something that you and I care very deeply about, which is the education of our children. You and I are both graduates, proud graduates of the Rochester City School District. You and I both live in the city of Rochester, and you, of course, have had leadership on the Rochester City School District Board of Education. We've been doing a lot of work as a delegation to support our superintendent and our school board members, and of course, all the families and children that they represent and serve. We're looking for ways to collaborate and to find opportunities between the city of Rochester and the school district on how we can uplift and help our students, many of whom, as you noted, are from families living within poverty. What are some ways that you can bring your experience on the school board in your new role as mayor to help strengthen those relationships?
Collaboration. We're going to be joined at the hip with the Rochester City School District. A strong school district is good for me because then it allows me to have a tax base and I don't have parents running out when their kids get 3 years old, 4 years old. Pathways to Public Safety Program is one way in which we will continue to collaborate. Anything that we can do with jobs, employment, and youth, making use of our recreation centers because we have great distribution amongst the city, and making sure that the 133 hours that kids spend outside of school is used to reinforce and support the education of our children and what they're getting in the district. So we look forward to continuing to collaborate with the district. I have the gray hair to prove from my time on the school board, and I look forward to continue to work with our district.
How refreshing, and thank you again for being here, Mayor.